lightning talk will be taken by Ogunniran Oluwasijibomi, and we'll be talking on exploring machine learning strategies in quantitative investing. Please, let's give a round of applause for Ogunniran Oluwasijibomi. Energy, energy, keep it up.
Energy, energy. All right.
Good afternoon, guys. I'm really happy to be here to talk about. Can you hear me? Okay. Hello, everyone. Okay. So I'm really glad to be here to talk about applying financial machine learning to investing. Next slide, please. Okay, next slide. I'm a quant. I work around quant data science. I've been in that for about 3 years, working on high-frequency trading systems. And I've also been in the data world for about 5 years plus, building stuffs around investment purpose and also applying artificial intelligence for that use case. Next slide. Okay, so there's this interesting movie. I don't know how many of us have watched The Big Short that talked about the 2008 housing crisis in the United States, and that spread around the world. So there's a big question here. What will you do if you know the future of the market? Can AI help you to make such predictions? Next slide, please. This is not clear really, but just talking about quantitative. What is quantitative investing? So when we are data people, and so when we involve data analysis or data science or machine learning to make appropriate investment decisions, then what you are doing is you are doing a quantitative investing work. And also, another interesting thing to define is what is alpha. So if you are used to bonds or Forex, you are trading like different asset systems, you want to be able to convince your investors that you can beat just trading any broker, right? So the alpha is what every hedge fund manager wants to get. He wants to be able to have a higher alpha than the market and to be able to use that to convince the investors. So as a machine learning engineer, as a data scientist, your plan is to generate higher alpha so you can use that to convince your investors. Next slide. So what is machine learning? Next slide. So machine learning or the ML algorithm, as we know, it learns complex patterns within high-dimensional space. So the factor in between that, the logical human mind will not be able to factor in such conditions because we are limited, but machine learning can do that in milliseconds, and it can properly represent and do appropriate predictions. Next slide. So what's the breakthrough in machine learning? Machine learning, just like the first heat map here, that is just learning the correlation of, imagine you have like different assets, you can give a statistical measure of the correlation, but when you apply machine learning like a clustering system to it, then it kind of looks at a lot of futures and can properly cluster those into very important information. And so machine learning gives much more powerful information to your system. Next slide. Also, can machine learning predict unexpected events? There's a theory called a black swan theory. A black swan is something that you are not expecting. So, for example, the 2008 housing crisis was a very powerful one of a black swan. Even though pandemics are things that occur, but the COVID-19 pandemic that happened also was affected the market like with a very big impact. And machine learning can be able to learn those theories, right? So because pandemics, they have, don't forget, the data you're training on is as dimensional space in terms of the futures and in terms of the time space, right? So those dimensional space can give theories for the model to be able to properly diagnose different situations. And so yes, it can learn from the theories. Next slide. Also, machine learning can learn hierarchical systems. So your favorite Titanic regression models or classification models, there is a kind of an hierarchical nature in how it is being built. So for example, a female in the first class or the second class cabin might survive, but the female in the third class cabin might not survive the Titanic crash. So there is an hierarchical nature in way it is learning the distributions of the data, and that's one of the power of machine learning. Next slide. Next slide. Okay, next slide. Yeah, just go to the next one. So let's just go, because of our time, to the current applications of machine learning. The first one is a price prediction. Price prediction as interesting, you might see that in your YouTube videos or in different books, but I can tell you it's one of the most complex parts where you can apply machine learning to. A lot of them you see online are they are literally fake, right? Because the price systems are not stationary as you see them. It has a lot of noise, and there are no proper signals there. So when you use machine learning, you have to factor in a lot of regulation metrics, and also you have to change the dimensions of the data. Most of the applications you see here is forecasting volatility, or you forecast the returns, which is more stationary than the price. And yes, so because of that nature, machine learning can actually give you, and there are hedge funds all over the world that do that. They're able to speculate the price, given those futures they have. Next slide. Next slide. Also in portfolio, okay, I have one before, but let's go to this one. Also in portfolio construction and analysis. So when you want to have stocks that you group together, some of us, we trade different stocks at different points in time, right? You want to be able to know which of your portfolios perform best, or you want to be able to rank them into different metrics. You want to know which one is going to give you much returns, right? Maybe your year-to-date or your month-to-date. Machine learning can properly rank those portfolios and can be able to give you more weight on the strategies or the portfolios that you should invest in and the ones you should reduce your returns on. Next slide. Next slide. Okay, so outlier detections, an interesting phenomena. We see that a lot in machine learning. Most of us are involved with it. But in the market, it's a very, very big factor, a huge factor. We have serious bubbles in market. Markets can rise up in milliseconds and fall down in milliseconds. Of a recent, we had a tech bubble, and we have series of bubbles coming. So, the current applications of financial machine learning, we have models like ransack models that are not affected by outliers. Even up to 40% nature of outliers, they can still stand and be able to give proper predictions, right? So, many hedge funds, global hedge funds or macro hedge funds, they use machine learning, they use outlier detection models to be able to do that prediction. Next slide. Okay, bet sizing. This is one of the most interesting part. I personally have worked a lot around bet sizing. Most hedge funds, when they see you can do good job in building risk model. From my personal project, you want to be able to know if what you are building, or if you have a short position or a long position on any asset, and you want to know the buying power. You want to know how much allocation you should invest. There are a lot of things that involve a lot of grammar, we have meta-labeling, we have triple barrier methods, and different things involved. But yes, you can be able to know the buying power of, or to know how much money you should invest into a particular strategy at any point in time using machine learning. And this is one of the most applied use case in global hedge funds. Next slide. Future importance. I'm aware if you're a machine learning practitioner, you want to be able to model and know the futures that are the most powerful, that give proper insights to the model you're building. So future importance can help you to be able to do that. Next slide. Okay, so credit rating analysis and risk systems. Also, you can be able to rate your credit systems, rate different assets with machine learning, and provide proper recommendations. Next slide. Unstructured data, sentiment analysis. Some of us, we can plug into Twitter API, load maybe Tesla stock, use the sentiments to know the directions we want to go, and that's also an interesting aspect in machine learning. Next slide. And detection of false investment strategies. I think this also is just the same way that you have some investment strategies that are going to go on the wrong side, even though maybe through your backtest. So backtest, for those that might not know, is a situation where you gauge and you're able to estimate how good a strategy is over a period in time using different metrics. And so when you can have scenarios where backtest is giving the wrong signal. Machine learning can help you to be able to detect such strategies and work there. Next slide. Okay, so for those that want to go really deep into this, I'll recommend you, there's this interesting book, Advances in Financial Machine Learning, by Marcos Des Leprado. There are also some interesting books. There are communities, global communities like the Adia Lab community. They have a Discord channel. You can go on it, search on it on Google, and join them. You'll be able to participate in competitions, and they give rewards. And I can tell you that the quant world is a very big world. It's a very big industry. On a very good scale, they rank in terms of pay range and all. They rank even much more higher than the data science or data scientist. So it's a very good thing to explore, and I wish you all the best in your journey in the quant world. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. That was a wonderful lightning session.